welcome to this tutorial. So this is going to be pretty lengthy, but we're going to be recreating the tutorial or the website that you had just watched being displayed. And we're going to go through each step in every single line of code. I think it'll give you a pretty good understanding of how to create a website of this scale and like usability. So yeah, why don't we just get started? So the first thing you're going to want to do is just make a new folder in VS Code. I have one just called Language Learning Website Tutorial. And once you have that, you're going to create a new file. I'm going to name mine page Spanish.html. Definitely want to include that HTML because we are working in HTML5. Alright. Then I'm just going to do an exclamation point. And with VS Code, it'll just create, I think it's called Launchpad. And from that, we just get all this basic stuff that allows us to have this live preview right here, which we won't open yet, but we will later. All right, so the title, let's make that page. I'm making Spanish. All right, looking good so far. So we have our basic layout right here. Hopefully you're a little familiar with this, but if not, it's pretty much just where we're going to be coding the rest of our stuff. So before we even get started, we need to link our CSS page, which we have not created yet, but we might as well do that now. So we're going to do a new file. We're going to do style_Spanish. And this can be whatever you want. It doesn't really matter. And we're going to do .css. We have this. We don't have to do anything with this right now, but it's there. Alright, so next, to link it, we're going to go, I'll make it pretty clear here, we're going to do link, yeah, just assuming it's style sheet, and we're going to do style, and it usually shows up, so style_Spanish to CSS. Boom, now they're linked, they're connected. Now anything I do to the style Spanish is going to affect the page. Very important. Next, we might as well just start with getting stuff onto the web page. So I'm going to start with what I'm doing here is just creating a comment. And you just do that with the the syntax is right here. So we're going to start with the header. So I always like to start with the div. Very important because it just containerizes everything. There we go. Div, make a class, header, div. Just because I don't know, my syntax is weird, but I like that. We're going to do a header, which is h1. We're going to make this class as header. Alright. Then I'm going to name mine up in the top Spanish 1K. Perfect. Now, when we go live down here, boom, we have Spanish 1K. Awesome. Now that was pretty simple. So I'm just gonna, this isn't very conventional, but I'm just gonna do the CSS as we go because it'll make it a lot more clear. So we're gonna head on over to our CSS and we're gonna get some preliminary things out of the way. So the first thing is we're gonna put a little asterisk right here, and this is just like for the entire web page pretty much, and it just like what border box is doing is just like how you align the elements. We're gonna do margin 0. Also, it helps with like resizing and stuff, and it's just simple, makes that a little more simple. Yep. Then we're gonna get the body out of the way. This is just as it sounds. It's just the CSS for the body. We're just gonna do padding 0, margin 0. Simple. All right. Now we're gonna actually get into the. Oh, and you can see it just affected that right there. So now we're gonna get into dealing with our div, our header div. So we're gonna do dot header, and the dot just when you're doing classes, you can use a dot. And later on, we'll get into IDs, and when using IDs, you'll use a hashtag. So header div, boom, like this. And I'm going to use display flex, which just it's hard to explain, but it just makes it like when you're resizing the screen, it's going to flex. So think of it like that. I'm going to do justify content center. And that's just the stuff inside of the div is going to be in the center of the screen at all times. We're going to do background color. I'm going to do black, but I'm actually going to, once this loads, there we go. You can actually hover over this, and I'm going to change the opacity to like around here. Like, and well, there you go. So it updated. You have that right there. Then I'm going to do margin bottom 4 pixels. And that'll just allow the next element under it to have a nice spacing. Awesome. So next, we have another class, which is the header inside of that, which is just named header, conveniently. So we're going to do another dot, and do header. All right. Now this is quite a lot of code, but that's just how CSS is. It's makes everything very clear, so it's not a lot of shortcuts you can take. Well, yeah, we're just getting the height and width set up. We're gonna get the font family out, which I like Open Sans and sans serif. This does have to be the exact syntax. All right, now we're getting to fonts, which is like people make it way too complicated, but all you really do is you can just import it from Google. So just go on Google, find the font you want, and it literally has something that looks exactly like this. Oh, there it is. So just hashtag import. Boom. Now look, my font has changed. Awesome. Okay. And it'll even show you in the CSS, like where I have the font family, how to make it whichever font you want. So that's very self-explanatory. But yeah, I recommend Google Fonts. I'll leave a link. All right. So center, that's going to center it. Boom. We're going to get font size. Obviously, just changing the font size. I like mine at like 50 pixels. And pixels isn't the best to use, but I just don't really care because I'm not trying to like make this for a tablet or anything. Well, you'd almost just want to use like percentages of the total screen width and stuff, but it's a little more advanced. All right, margin top. I'm gonna do like 20 pixels. So now there's a little bit of gap. I like that. Do color. I think I have it as it's like a white. But then I have the opacity turned down or something. Maybe something like that. Okay, and then background color is this, which I think is just like really, I don't even know what that's doing, to be honest. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's like if you move the page, it's gonna affect it a little bit. And then border radius. Oh, and you might see me messing up a little bit, but all right. And border radius is you can't see it, but it's really just making the edges circular. All right, first element done. Perfect. Moving on. Next, we have our return to menu, which we have not created a menu yet because I think it makes more sense to do our content before we make our menu. But we'll just add that for later. So it is return button. All right. So it's going to be very similar. Just a div class. I'm going to set it as like home. We're going to do a class. I'm going to do home slash x. Which in my notes I have it as x because it was originally an x, but we're actually going to use an arrow, which I think is a lot more clear to the user, that you're heading back and not just closing the entire application. So we have that. And then for A's, oh, actually I have a mistake here. This should not be href, this should be class. And then we're going to have href, here f. I don't know how to say it, but that's going to go in later time to our home thing, which right now we'll just set for like home menu HTML when we create that later. All right. Then inside of this, we're going to have an image. And that source, I'm going to bring in for mine, but you can find this in the description, is going to be an arrow. And there it is. See that arrow right there? I'm actually going to create a new folder for that. I'm going to call it assets. And we'll put the arrow in the assets. So hide that out of sight. All right. So image source. And it's going to be assets-arrow.png. And it goes in for you, luckily. Alt, we can leave blank. That's really for like if your page is like maybe on Internet Explorer or something like that where it doesn't load. But let's see what happens without formatting when I click save. All right, so we have like almost this invisible arrow, and obviously it can't get to home because it doesn't exist. But now we're going to go into the CSS and solve that. So in CSS, we're gonna, since it's a div and it has a class, we're gonna do dot home, and we're gonna do padding left, I don't know, like 10 pixels from the left side of the screen. New display inline block, which just means that it can be like on the same horizontal axis as another element. We're gonna do justify content left. What this means is when the screen is ever resized, it's gonna stay on the left side of all the elements. We're gonna do padding top. 5 pixels, just so it adds a little bit to the eyes. And we'll do width 37%. Oh, 37%. And what that's doing is like, I think it's 37% of the viewport length. Yeah. And that's just going to help with that arrow. So, all right. I didn't do too much because the arrow's so big, but that's all right. Now, we're going to do the A class, which is what this arrow is actually in. So the arrow is going to inherit its stuff from the home X, which is important. So, all right. Now we're going to do dot home dash X. And to this, which is the like actual link, we're going to do display flex, which just means it's going to change size. Or no, it's like it's able to be flexed when the screen size is changed. Say if someone had a different monitor. And we're gonna do padding left 25 pixels. We could do margin, but I'm a little lazy. And we'll do 25 pixels. Alright. Still nothing, it looks like nothing's changed. But in reality, a lot has changed. So then the next step is with that actual image element, where is it? Right in here. Oh, there it is. So right there, that is its own element, and we're just saying we're going to do that to all the images on the screen, or I mean in our IDE. But since we only have one image, we can just do that because I'm lazy and I don't want to give it its own class just because I don't really care that much. So then we're going to do width 40 pixels, and that should solve our giant arrow problem. And it did. Now the arrow looks invisible, but it's actually like hidden right here. Alright. We got that done. Then, now that we have the arrow and we actually need to be able to see stuff, we're going to change the background. And so, this is a very unconventional way to do this, but we're going to go back to our HTML, and we're going to go up to our, the very top where it says HTML Lang English. And we're going to type in ID, this is for later, but we're going to do ID, HTML ID, like that. We're going to do style, which this is this is called inline CSS, which is where we're doing CSS on here. But with my JavaScript setup, it just seems to work the best. So we're going to do background, yeah, just background, and then URL. And then the URL allows us to import like an image as our background. So I'm going to take another one of my backgrounds that you can find in the description, and we will make our cells if we'd like. But this is the background I'm going to use, a nice mountain looking thing that you had seen in the preview. So we're going to do that, and we're going to take the URL from assets, and we're going to do background lo-fi 0, like that. And then, this is pretty important, but we're going to have no repeat, center, center, oh, there it is, center, fixed, there, that, and then background size. And what this is doing is it's just going to make sure the size is always the same and like is covering the screen. And so when we click to reload this, it should show our background. And there it is. Now we can see our arrow of our lovely background made in AI. And now our arrow is nice and visible. Perfect. All right, so now that we have that, we have our nice background, we're going to continue with our elements. We have a way to return the menu. Now, let's set up our progress bar. That will come later, and as you saw in the demo, it'll be affected by how the user's responding to the questions. So this is where it gets a little complicated, and this is where I had to find stuff on the internet, because this is not something I could probably figure out on my own without a lot of pain, I guess I'd say. But we're going to name its class as progress bar. We're going to set, we're actually going to set a style, so another inline CSS type of moment. We'll do width. And it doesn't like this very much because this is like a more advanced technique, and kind of got to break through some of VS Code's already set things. So we're going to do data label equals and nothing. We don't need to have it as anything, so that's good. So then it looks like nothing's going to happen, but it really, a lot of the action happens in the CSS. So yeah, back to the CSS, and we are going to start on that. So we have our class progress bar. Oh, there's a comma. Oh, there we go. And then we're going to add some padding left. Sorry, padding right. Shouldn't really matter, but 50 pixels. Position relative. And if you're wondering, I'm just pressing tab whenever I see the one I want pull up, and it just saves a lot of time. We're going to do width 500 pixels. We should see something show up now. No, it's still invisible. We're going to do height of 3 EM. I'm going to be honest, I don't know what EMs are too well, but I'm pretty sure it's just the, it's like a unit of measurement related to the window size. And there's a lot of different units of measurement, but yeah, just ignore that. And then for the color, I'm going to copy from the source code, but it's pretty much just a black with an opacity. It's something like this, like something like that. Oh, there. So the progress bar is showing up. Nice. We're going to do border radius of 1.5 EM. That should make the edges a little round. There it goes. Perfect. We're going to add our color, which is going to be a nice red. Perfect. And that'll affect something inside of it that we'll see later. And then our font family, which is pretty optional, but in case you wanted to add text to it, we're going to go with Open Sans again. Oh, stop looking at that. There. And then we'll do sans serif. Awesome. And in case you wanted some more font, I'd set the font weight to bold. Perfect. Okay, now transition. This is where it's getting into like some of the animation stuff you can do in HTML and CSS. And JavaScript, because this is also including JavaScript. We're going to do 300 milliseconds linear, so there's no weird curves that are like messing with it or any of that kind of thing. We're going to make this display inline block. And once I reload, it should jump up just below the Spanish and on the same line as the arrow. And there it goes. So right now it looks off-center because we're in this different view, but if it were full screen, it would be more center. All right, so then that's our progress bar, nice. Then we're gonna get our label, which was right here, data label. And this is gonna like format if we wanted text too, because this is where the text would reside. But we're gonna have our font family and boom. As simple as that. Alright. Now we're gonna get into some stuff that I don't understand, but I'll link the video that I found a lot of this out from. But we're just gonna go like this. Progress bar. And then we're gonna go like this before. And what this is doing is like, it's saying before anything even happens, this is what we want it to look like. So we're going to do content, attribute, data label, and this is what's like affecting the CSS. Perfect. Then we're going to do display flex again. And you'll see display flex is relatively common in CSS. We do position absolute. We can do left. 0.5 em. And I cannot explain this very well, so you're just going to have to see the results for yourself. But, yeah. 0.5 em. Width. Now we're going to calculate, like, where the white bar is going to be if someone gets it right, or if it should say the same when it's wrong. So we're going to do calculating the variable of width. And we're going to do that, or provide that by 0. And we're going to times it by 1%. And the percent can change like how much you want each it to go up each time. But it might be wonky, but you can always mess with that and get it to work. We're going to do minimum width 0, which is might as well just be nothing, but we're going to do 0%. Do max width, and this is going to calculate like how many words we have, and then how many words we have, and then so it doesn't go like past its bounds. I guess it's kind of hard to visualize, but should see it in action. And then it's gonna have a nice white for the bar, but you can change that. Have our border radius as 1 em. We're going to have our transition, so every time it's right, it's not just going to jump up there. It's going to have a little bit of a transition or an animation. 3 milliseconds and linear. Alright, now it should look a whole lot different when I reload. No, it doesn't, because... Oh! Might be missing something. I think it's just because we don't have our JavaScript yet, but we'll come back to that and make sure later. For now, we just have our floating box. All right, on to the next element. Go back to our HTML. All right. And we have our change background button. Now this is like super optional. Oh, that's not how you spell background. Super optional, but I just like it because it's pretty cool, and I don't see a lot of websites where you can like customize it like that. Oh, and this also, well, this div that we're making will also hold our little button that links to a lo-fi, which I think is just cool. And you had seen in the demo. So, new div. Oh. Div, and we're gonna make it class change underscore background underscore div, and the underscore div is just gonna let us know that it's underscore div. Okay, inside of this we're gonna put a button with type equals button, and this just lets it know that it's like clickable, if you know what I mean. And then we're going to add a class as change underscore background. All right. We're going to have an ID of change underscore background. And in what we want it to say is change background. So I'm going to make it say change background. And we have a little button right here. And right now it does nothing. You can click on it, does nothing though. All right. It's pretty lengthy. Yeah. Now inside of this div, we are going to add the lo-fi button as well. So I'm going to actually bring this div down, and we're going to add an A again. And this is going to take us to the lo-fi, or it can also take you wherever you want, but I just link a lo-fi on YouTube. All right. And then we're also going to add a class of change background, so it inherits the one from earlier, and they're in the same format. Then we're going to have an ID. Yep. So then an ID of lo-fi. And I don't think I used the ID, but it's there if you need it. And then also, we're going to have a target of blank. And what this does is it opens it in a new tab when you click it instead of like overriding the one you're on and just canceling it out. So we're going to go like that. And then to this, where is it? I'm going to make it say lo-fi. And there we go. We have the same thing. Now, oh, did I even add an ending A tag? Yes, I did. All right, now we're going to start formatting it. So go to our CSS. It's going to be a whole lot of code, but we'll get through it. All right, so we have our div, and this one's relatively simple. So change underscore background underscore div. And all we have here is a padding right, which is 5 pixels, and we have a padding top, which is 10 pixels. And we have a float to the right, which means it just like, it honestly just floats over there. Like it'll stay over there if the page is resized. And there we go. I head over there. That's it for the div. Next, we have our change background without the div. And for this, it's going to be a decent amount. We're going to do transition 0.3 seconds. And this is for the animations when you hover over them, which we'll see in a second. But yeah, we're going to do border none. We're going to do color as white, not wheat. It could be wheat if you wanted. We're going to do padding for this, which we could do margin, but I just like padding. 15 pixels and 25 pixels. And then text align center. This is aligning the text to the center, of course. Text decoration is none. This just means if it were to be underlined, it would. But like sometimes it'll add little effects to it and stuff. And I think if I reload the change background, it'll just be like the lo-fi. No, it will not. We'll solve that later, but font weight bold. Font size 25 pixels. Oh, well, no wonder. I spelled background wrong again. Now it should change. All right, so we have that, and I assume I spelled page background wrong again over here. No? Maybe it's because these are connected. Well, the lo-fi should be the exact same as the button, which is strange that it's not. Let me see. And it's probably because, okay, I think I see. All right. We're going to have our cursor as pointer, which just means when you hover over it like this, it turns into a cursor. Okay. We're going to have a border radius of 25 pixels. Make them nice and round. We're going to have a background color of just pure black. There we go. The lo-fi is not going inside of it for some reason. I'm not entirely sure why, but I'll figure it out in a second. It's probably something with being outside of the div, I would imagine. Let me see. Let me just check my notes. There we go. So I assume something was out there, but here's the improved code. You can see it there. Just copy that. All right. Now they're looking the same. That's good. All right. So we're done with the change background. Now we're going to go on to the link, which I'm just using A again because I don't care for classes, especially in this one. I'm going to set the Z index to 100 just in case your browser wants that for whatever reason. And then the font family, I'm going to come up here and copy it because I do not want to keep on typing that. It didn't like that. Oh, that's why. There, Lo-Fi's in the Google font now too. Text align center, looking nice and centered. We're gonna do our font size as 50 pixels, right? We're gonna do our color to white. It's already white, but it's just overriding it. Our background color to what is that, like? Just white with a opacity change. We'll do this, right down like that. And that's actually affecting the arrow too, because that's also an A. And then do our border radius as maybe like 50. I don't want it quite circular. Gonna do our justify content center. We're gonna do a width of 75 pixels. And we're going to do a transition of 8 seconds for when we add an animation. 0.8 seconds, sorry. And then we're going to do text decoration. None. Perfect. Now we're going to do, when you hover over the A, I'm going to have it turn red. Just because it's just like shows the user that you're hovering on it. And so you can just do A and then the 2 dots and then hover. And when it's being hovered over, I want it to look nice red color. Bring the opacity down a little bit. There we go. And then we'll change the transition also to 0.8 seconds. Now when I hover over this arrow you're about to see, boom, turns a little bit red. Very nice. All right. Now, a little out of order, we have our change background hover. We're going to do change background. Same thing. Oh, same thing, hover. It's just the exact same, honestly. But transition, 0.3. Oh. Color. We're going to make it black when it's just hovered over. Make the background color white. And make the font weight, so it's going to get a little more bold, 200. Make the font weight bold. Now when I hover over, you can see that they actually get inverted. And there's a little animation. A snappy animation. So that's pretty cool. I just like that how it reverses. It's super smooth. And that's it for those 2 buttons. Now, oh yeah, also when I click the Lo-Fi, opens Lo-Fi. Pretty cool. So let's look at what we have right now when I full screen it. We've got this going on right now. Alright, so a quick correction on that last bit of code. You're actually going to change this border right here to border radius. Alright. And then under that, we're going to add a padding of 1 EM as well. Alright. Next, we're going to go up to our, where is it? Actually, we're going to go down to our change background. We're going to change this font size to 15 pixels. Awesome. Now when we make it full screen, everything fits perfectly on this right, and when we zoom in and stuff, it's nice. And that's it. Back to the tutorial. Alright, so now that we have that stuff, we can start adding where the user's actually going to be typing the words into the game. So now we're going to start making the game elements. So first thing, I'm going to make a div called with the class of quiz. then inside of that, or I'm going to make that pretty big so it's going to have less stuff in it. I'm going to make a form. And we don't need an action. It's a misconception. We need a style. And this will become apparent later, but we're going to do top 300 pixels. And then we're going to have an ID of form underscore quiz. All right, inside this form, we're going to expand it. Boom, boom, boom. We are going to have our English word that shows up that it wants you to translate into Spanish. And so I'm just going to comment this real quick. English word. And how we're going to do this is just with a header. So H1 is going to be ID equals English. And inside is going to be nothing because the JavaScript will add it. And then we're just going to copy this. And then under here, we're going to add a little hint system, which you'd seen in the demo. And yeah, I mean, they're very similar elements. Except this one's ID is going to be Spanish underscore helper, like a type. Perfect. Inside of this, we are going to have a user input box. And this is going to be what's called an input, which is just where a user can type in it. And it's going to be type text. I'm just going to come back here and make the ID equal to, let's make it Spanish. That's fine. Placeholder is like what you can see before you even type anything is going to be translate above. Oh, let's just do translate word. Translate to Spanish. How about that? Sounds cool. All right. Then our action. This will be apparent later, but our action equals a hashtag, and it'll be apparent later, but that's just like allowing us to take what we put in there, and then in the JavaScript we can like interpolate it, if that makes sense. Like we can take that data. So we're gonna do autocorrect as off because we don't want it giving away the answer. Did I spell that right? Yep. Equals off. Oh. Autocomplete off. And auto capitalization off. Spell check false. And value nothing, because that'll be, the user will be typing in the value, which we can take in JavaScript. Okay, then we're going to indicate whether it is correct or incorrect with a little thing that shows up. So how we do that is just make a div to make its, actually we're not going to use a class, sorry. We're going to use an ID of translation output div, which is very long. But then we're going to add a style. And we're going to have that equal to color. And it's going to be white. Where's white? There it is. White. And that's about it, yeah. And yeah, so from that ID, we can change the color of that. And that's why we use the inline, which is sad. It's like easier to visualize. Now we're going to add all of our accent buttons, which is going to be a lot of code, but I mean, for a different language, you kind of need that. All right. So we're going to use a ton of buttons. So I'm just going to copy and paste it. We're going to do button. Oh, it didn't work. Button class button 1. And then actually we're just going to name it button for now. We're going to make it a type button. Going to make it an ID of button. And inside that, we're going to have our accent. So like we'll have the A with the little apostrophe on it. And we're going to copy this, I think, yeah, 4 times. So boom, and we're going to change all these accordingly. Oh. Type, yeah, that'll say the same. 4, 3, 2, 1. And then I'm going to put in the accents for each of these, which get online or copy from the source code. Okay, perfect. Alright, now I have our button elements. Oh, you can actually see them down here. I didn't even realize that. We can do a little typing in here. Nothing's going to happen though. Just reloads the page after. Now we have that. We can... That's all we need in our form, so we can bring that up a little bit. Make it a little cleaner. And now, for the last element that's going to be on the page, is going to be our disclaimer. Just that I made all these images in AI. Spelled it wrong. Come on. There we go. And that's just going to be a P because... Actually, I don't even know why I made it a P, but whatever. Disclaimer. All images created in AI. We'll just put Midjourney. Why not? Alright. See that down here. Now we're going to start formatting all of this stuff, which is going to get it's very hectic, but we'll get it done. So, we have our .quiz div. I'm going to start with a border radius of 50 pixels. We have a margin as auto. Already stuff is starting to change. We have a justify content as center. The height of 800 pixels. And have a width of 1,000 pixels. Come on now. Just an auto-correcting that. Then we're going to have a background blend mode, which I don't think does anything. I don't know why I even added it, but in case you wanted to change the blend, you could. I have it as hard light. We're going to have a background color of, looks like black with like the slightest bit of opacity. So like that. There we go. Looking nice. And now we have our little container. Now for our form, all we have is a text align center, a fill of just black, and we have an align items as center. Boom, all my items are in the center. Disclaimer isn't because it's like, we'll get to that at the very end. All right, now we're gonna move on to the English. So since we're using its ID, we're gonna use the hashtag English. Oh, there it is. And we're gonna do color white, not wheat. Why would they make wheat first? We're gonna do fonts, love autocorrect. Font size 70 pixels. Font family, I'm just gonna copy from up here. Okay. And currently you can't even see this because it's nothing's there because we haven't done the JavaScript yet. But yeah. And we're gonna do a padding bottom as 10 pixels. Okay. I think it's almost exactly the same for the Spanish helper. I'm just gonna copy it to save time. So, except that obviously it's gonna be Spanish underscore helper. Oh, I guess I have a different font, but we're just gonna keep it the same. Padding bottom. Then apparently we have our position as a inherit, which I think it's just inheriting from the div, I assume. This is for some reason 15, but we're gonna keep it. All right. Now, again, a little more confusing. We have our ID as Spanish, which is like the user input. But that's gonna have a stroke of black It's going to have a stroke width of 50 pixels. It's going to have a color of white. Oh, wait. It's going to have a carrot color, transparent. And I'm pretty sure carrot color means like, it's like, you can see on VS Code that little flashing line. I think it just gets rid of that. Do font size of 100 pixels. Do width of 800. That's 100. We'll do a border of none. Border radius of 50 pixels. Text align, center, background color. I have it set as like a very faint white. It looks like. And do like that. Alright, there we go, yeah. So we have that, we can type in it. Look at that, yep. Awesome. Now, we're gonna get our placeholder, and since it's like, doesn't even have like, it's not technically an element, it's just like part of that, we're gonna do the two, daughters, I'm just gonna call them daughters. We're gonna do placeholder, and we're gonna do text align center. We're gonna do font size 60 pixels, and we're gonna do color as white. And watch this. Awesome. Now it's in the middle, and you can actually see that. And we can type whatever we want. If it's like hola, hello, and it resets the page, and we're done. All right, perfect. On to the next step. So next step in the CSS is going to be the value. So for that, we're going to do, where is it? These again, and then value. And then we're going to do text align center. And that just means like when we're typing, it's in the center, which, if I'm not wrong, it already was. But I think it's, maybe for some browsers might need that. Who knows? But that's there. Then we're going to do our translation output div. And this is like what holds our hint and stuff. So yeah, we're going to have our font family. That's not the font family. Font family, again. Bring that down. We're going to have our font size of 50 pixels. We're going to have our padding bottom as 0ch. No idea why I put that, but just put it anyway. Text shadow. I'm pretty sure this does nothing, but maybe it'll add a little bit of decoration to our page. So text to shadow, and we'll do 0.25 pixels. I'm pretty sure you can't see it because this, I have the pixels so small, but if you want to increase that, you can probably see it. Alright, and we'll have a black. So, awesome. On to the buttons. Now it'll look, after this, it'll start looking like, almost exactly like the website in the demo. So, we're going to just put them all in the same one, so you can just go like this. Boom, comma, dot button, 2, comma, dot button, 3, comma, dot button, 4, comma, and then just make sure you have the bracket out there. And for this, we're gonna have a transition. Oh, it doesn't like something I did. What does it not like? Oh, I have an extra comma. There we go. Transition. Come on now. Transition of 0.8 seconds. We're going to have a border of none. Color of white. It's very repetitive just because we have a very similar style for all of our crap in this website. Do a padding of 15, 16, who cares, 32 pixels. I don't know why there's such a big gap. We're going to align these texts to the center. We are going to have no text direction. we're gonna display as inline blocks, so it can be on the same, they can all be on the same things. We have our font size as 30 pixels. The margin as 20 pixels and 2 pixels. You'll see exactly what this does in a second. We're going to have our cursor as pointer, just so user can tell, just UX type of thing. And then we're going to have our background color as black with, what is it? What do I have? 85, okay. 85 opacity. And you can see that right there. Awesome. Looking good. Then we have our border radius. Oh, we're going to put this. Border radius of 25 pixels. Awesome. So I feel like I missed the width somewhere in here, which is surprising. So I'm gonna go back and check, because it definitely shouldn't be this like small on the screen. It should not be like that. So let me go back and check real quick. Alright, so the problem was that I had just mistyped this, and you might have caught this, but I just have pad instead of padding. So, boom, nice big buttons. Alright, now we're going to add some effects to these when you hover over them. So what we can do is just copy these right here. And after every single one, we're going to have to add hover. I don't know why their system is like this, but it just is. Maybe I'm missing something. You can add a hover to like the entire thing, but not found it. Alright, so when you're hovering over it, I want a nice transition of 0.8 seconds. And then I want the color to change to black. There it is. Black. And I want the background to change to white. And it's going to have the exact same effect as like the lo-fi and change background. So look. Super smooth, super clear. Like you can very clearly see which one you're going to click. And this doesn't work yet. It just resets the page. But yeah, we have that all set up. And then last but not least, for our CSS, we have our disclaimer. So disclaimer. And also, you can make this whatever you want. You can make it, this website's made by, I don't know, your name James, whatever your name happens to be, or maybe your little brand, if you'd like. We have our bottom 10 pixels, position absolute. We have our color. I think I have mine as like a transparent white, but I'm just gonna stick with white, normal white. You justify content, center. You text align center. Font size of 10. I like mine quite small, just because if it's there, you can see it. If you don't want to see it, you don't have to see it. Going top of 50 pixels. And then, oh yeah, the font family. Of course. Gotta keep that consistent font. And there's that. And now, boom. Way down there. So that is it for our HTML section. We have our full website. You can see it right here, looking absolutely awesome. None of the functionality works yet, and yeah, this is just the basis. We have all this. Don't have any of the functionality. But now we're going to move on to our JavaScript and get that coded. So we'll see you there. All right, so we have our website UI fully coded, and we have all of our elements needed. So the next step is to get our JavaScript set up, and then with our JavaScript we can start adding actual functionality to the website. So we're first going to start by using inline JavaScript, which we'll just do that by going like this. Type in script. No, that didn't work. type in script, and then this is going to be where our JavaScript is stored. So first I'm going to start by declaring some variables that we're going to use later. So I'm going to declare a variable of score equals 0, and I'm going to have a variable of round also equals 0. Or sorry, which equals 1. Okay, next we're going to make a list, or actually two lists that hold our English words and our Spanish words. So I'm going to make a simple list, const English equals, and I have mine right here. I'm just going to copy and paste it, but it's just whatever you want, whatever English words you want, they'll be right in here. So we'll have those in there. It looks like, oh yeah, so with lists, you're just going to use brackets instead of the curly braces, like that. This is getting all messed up, but I'll fix it in a second. So we have that, and then we're going to make one for the Spanish. So Spanish. Do not capitalize it. I'm just going to keep it lowercase. Equals. And then same thing. I'm going to copy and paste the direct translations. And they do need to be in order. So like if hello's here, hola is going to be there, and I, yo, and so on. And with Python, you can automate this, but you can also do it in like Excel and stuff. So then I'm just going to format the document real quick so it looks better. Like that. Perfect. Okay. So we have our two lists, one in English and one with the Spanish translation that the user will be typing. Now, a function that isn't necessary but is definitely going to make it like easier or a better memorization software is going to be a shuffling function. So I'm going to define the function as shuffle, and we're going to take the values object1 and object2. 2. There we go. Curly brackets, braces, same thing. And we're going to define an index, which equals object1 dot length. And we're going to have a couple more variables like random, tmp1 and tmp2. All right. So you don't worry too much about what this does, but it's pretty much just a function that is going to shuffle the two lists, but make sure that they stay like connected in a sense. So like hola might not be, or hello might not be first, but wherever hello is moved, hola is going to be right next to it, or like in the same index. So now we're going to make a little while loop. So while our index is still true, we're going to do random equals math. And this is all just vanilla JavaScript. And they have like a random function that's pretty easy to use. So it's right here. And then we're going to times that by the index. And we're doing this because you can't really, like, randomization isn't actual randomization. What this is doing is it's using JavaScript's built-in random function, which is probably just taking either some random value from this document or like the current time, which it's 10 p.m., and like timesing it by a bunch of numbers, then picking some random digits. So that's how it's randomizing it, but we don't really need to know that information. Okay, and then each time that happens, we're gonna minus one from the index. So it's going like down the list. And we're just gonna start defining some of these. And I can't really explain this too well, but if you just look up how to like make a random shuffling function and you want to learn more, you'll be able to find a lot of stuff. But this is, I mean, this is the best way I've found. It's kind of like a mishmash between how I've seen other people do it. Lots of coding though. Oh. 2. on. Still going. My typing is just getting worse and worse, it seems. Oh my goodness. Finally, that's done. Let's clear these spaces. And then that's it for the shuffling right there. So that's like what's going to happen when we call that. Now that we have that function, we're going to use our shuffle function with the two lists. And the two lists are what the object 1 and object 2 are. So definitely like look up what what adding values to a function does if you don't know, but pretty much we're just using the shuffle function with object 1 and object 2 as an input of our two lists. So yeah, we're gonna technically like just insert these lists into that formula in a sense, just like that, and boom, that'll shuffle them. Awesome. Now I'm going to define some more variables. They're a little out of place, but I just have it set up like this. I'm going to do var number equals 0. This will be important down here. And we're going to have some more declarative values. Let SP, which is an acronym for Spanish, just SP, equals Spanish num. And we're going to let en equals English num. All right, and then var background equals 0. Awesome. Now we're gonna make another function for changing the background. So first we're gonna make the function. So we're gonna do function change underscore background. And we're not calling anything to it, so we can just leave it blank in there. Curly brackets. So we're going to do background equals background plus 1. So every time it calls, like it's going to increase it. And then we're going to have an if statement. And we're going to do if background is less than or is greater than 5, do this code. So that's very important. So if it's greater than 5, we want it to reset and go back to the first one, which is what we have like right here on the web page. This is background 1. But if it's not, then we want to change it when we click the button. So we're going to do background style equals. Okay, so now this is getting relatively advanced with like combining CSS, JavaScript, and HTML. But essentially we're taking this like HTML elements background stuff in the inline CSS and we're just manipulating it. So this is the best way I found how to do it, but I'm sure there's other ways. So we're just going to type out what we want to implement. So we're going to do URL, and then you have to like manually type it out, which is very strange, but background lo-fi. And you also have to have your backgrounds all named, the same thing, which is definitely interesting. All right, another one of those. Not sure why that's there. Oh, there we go. Background lo-fi, and boom, and then plus background. And that's going up every time we're clicking it, so yeah. Plus, boom. Getting a little weird. Just hang with me. And these spaces all have to be perfectly aligned, so do .png. Okay, and then we're going to go up here and we're actually just going to copy this no repeat center fix background size cover, so we don't have to deal with it. All right. Oh, it didn't like that. What does it not like? Oh, it's on the same line. There we go. Yeah, this all has to be on the same line, which is very annoying, but it's all right. Okay. Perfect. Now that we haven't actually like defined it, that was just a variable and it's just detecting its type as a string. But now we're actually going to change it. So we're going to do we are going to do this. We're going to do document dot, we're going to be doing this a lot in a couple minutes, element by ID, and that ID is HTML ID, of course. And I think, yep, it's capitalized, okay. HTML ID. And then we're going to do dot style equals background style, boom. Now I'm going to import my assets, the rest of my assets, which is just all my backgrounds, into that. So yeah. Actually, I only need these ones. All right, so I have the rest of my backgrounds, and now, whichever backgrounds you want, and make sure they're all named the same. Once we code this next part, we will be able to change our background at will, which is pretty nice. So then we're gonna make it like kind of sense when we're clicking the button, and so we're gonna do that with just like an event listener, which is just HTML and JavaScript's way of like detecting an event, as the name suggests. But we're gonna get the ID of our button, which is change underscore background. And it's important that's ID because the other one's lo-fi, even though they have the same class. That's where it gets a little weird with the way I'm doing it. Background button dot add event listener. Okay. Oh, and then we're gonna do click event, and then we're just gonna do this arrow, which is just a syntax for like go on to this part of it. Go down a little bit, and then we're gonna do a curly bracket, go down a little bit, and we're just gonna call the function change underscore background, and boom. Now, when we click change background, if I coded everything correctly, it should change the background. And it does not. That is strange. So I'm going to go debug this and find out what's wrong, and then I'll be back. All right, so I fixed all the problems. So firstly, we need a little sign right here. And then I had like an extra little thing that said doc right here, just delete that. Next, I hadn't included, this needs to be background button as well. And then I think that was it. And now if we look, it should work. Boom, boom, boom. These are all my backgrounds. Yeah, we can change the background. Pretty awesome. Go back. I like this one. All right. So yeah, that's how you change the background. Pretty simple. We're starting to add some functionality. Now, now just for in advance, we're just gonna add the next page function, which is for later when you finish the game and you go on to the end game screen. And that's just gonna look like a simple function. So next page. Oh, there we go. And don't worry too much about what this is, but it's just pretty much saying that it's gonna open like a new page. And this isn't even created yet, but we will create it. Oh, okay. I don't know what it's like auto-correcting me. Boom, it's taken care of. Let's move on. All right, now onto the accents functions for the accent buttons. Let's get those. Let's get those working. But first, I'm gonna refactor the document with prettier. Let's make it look nice. Awesome. Okay. Now let's make sure everything works. So, yep, that didn't mess anything up. Okay. Accent functions are extremely, they're all super similar, so we can just copy and paste a lot of it, but we're going to start with the accent a little apostrophe a. There it is. And we're just going to make a function called add underscore accent 1. And actually, we're just going to leave that blank because we're just going to be copy and pasting this function anyway. So we're going to do let user type equals documents.get element by ID Spanish. Oh, I didn't like that. Spanish dot value. And what this is doing is like when I'm typing like this, it's taking that value just at any time. All right, and then a underscore accent, yeah, just leave it blank for now. Was document get element by ID Spanish again. Why is it doing this? It's not liking me right now. We have that, and then again, it keeps on changing. Dot value equals user type, which is like the actual text field, equals the A. Perfect. Then we need to have that happen when the button is clicked, so that when button, just leave it blank, equals document.get element by ID button. Oh my goodness, my autocorrect. Do that blank button dot add event listener, click, very repetitive arrow, and then the function add accent. Boom. Okay, now we're gonna copy and paste this 4 more times, which, I mean, you don't have to have it, but I want all 4 of mine, so got ours 4 times. Now we're gonna go and say this one's for the E. Let's put them in order. So it's for the E. This one is for the O. This one is for the squiggly N. So this one's going to be 1. It's going to be accent 1. And it's going to be, yeah, this all looks good. Anything else that needs a 1? Let me check. Let button 1, there we go. And then button 1, boom. Then this is going to be, of course, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Yep. This is going to be 3, 3, 3, 3, and 3. And this one's going to be 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. And now, hopefully it should work. So when we click these, no, of course it doesn't work. What did I mess up on? Let me check this. Let me take a look. Oh, I'm not actually calling that function. So these all need to have the number 2s as well, like the number you put on them. So like this. Oh. Like that. And now, oh, still doesn't work. Back to debugging it. Alright, so the problem was that these also need to have the number. It's more repetitive than I thought, sadly. But, oh, not Spanish, the button. Okay. Let's hope this works. There it is. Oh, and they all click that. That is weird. For whatever reason, all of them are hitting the A. Oh, and that's because I did not bother to change that. That would do it. So you actually have to change these. So that would definitely do it. And last one. Oh, okay, took a little bit, but we got it. Let me just check one more time. A-E-R-N. Awesome. And it should work in tandem with our thing. So like if we're typing like K, boom, click, boom, awesome. Okay, that's set up that's probably the most tedious part of this entire thing. Now we get into the good stuff where we're actually coding the logic behind the scoring system and everything, and I was checking if it's right. So first we're going to set up the first English word, and this is where we're going to start seeing the website take fold. So setting up first English word. Super easy, just document.get element by ID. Oh, it's just going to do that the rest of the time, I guess. English. Oh. Dot inner HTML, and what this is doing is just telling it like, I want to change your value that's in the element. And we're going to set that to the first English word. And boom, there it is, his. And watch when I refresh, it's going to shuffle it. Very nice. And that'll do it infinitely. I mean, however many you have, it's going to shuffle them randomly. Awesome. Starting to see some stuff. Now we're going to be declaring the user's input, which is a simple input, just to keep it like concise when you're reading it. Get element by ID. We're going to do Spanish. Awesome. So now when the user's typing in here, when you press, or eventually when you press enter, it's going to know what you typed. Now the verification system, which is very, very long, but we're going to get through it. First, I'm going to add an input listener to the to the Spanish, which is just the input is the Spanish, but yeah, you'll see that. So then we're going to do it on a key press, and then this is getting like a little complicated and hard to explain, but just understand that this is like it's detecting whether the enter key is pushed, and then it's going to do the function based on that. And it's just all built into one system, so it's not very easy to read. But that's what's happening. And we're going to do if events.key equals, which is when you're comparing like certain, like it has to be the right type and value. If that's true, we're going to do this function. Okay, so first we're going to check if the game is over. Perfect. We're going to do this by just calling another if. We're going to do English.length is greater than the round number, because every time you get it wrong, or every time you get it correct, the round goes up one, so it'll like no. Perfect. So if that's true, we just want yeah. So well, now we're just declaring some more values inside of this, just I think because it affects it later on. But yeah, we're gonna declare this, which is just our like our abbreviation for Spanish, and it's getting the list, which is our Spanish list, and it's getting the index of that, which is what our num is, and that works with our shuffling system. Okay, and we're gonna also let user type equals document dot get element by the Spanish dot value. And then we're going to do event.prevent default. And I think what this does is it clears the text every time you press enter, which is nice. All right. So once that's true, we're going to have another if statement, believe it or not, inside of this one. So let's go. It actually needs to stay inside of this. So bring that all the way down. We'll see that in a second. So if correct, if space user type, which is like what the user entered. And let me see. No, we can keep it lowercase. Equals Spanish. We want a lot of things to happen. So firstly, we're gonna want the okay. First, we're gonna want our translation. Oh, it's lowercase. Output div to tell us that we're correct, just so the user knows. We're gonna do style.color equals white. And we'll see this in a second. Then we're going to do document.get element by ID. Again. This time we're going to do it for, or it's actually the exact same thing, except we're manipulating like the text in it. So we want inner HTML equals correct. Then for our Spanish helper, just for consistency, we're just going to have it display nothing. So that stays away. Okay, dot inner HTML equals nothing. We don't care about it right now. Awesome. And then our number, which is our index, is going to go up by 1. Which is really just a round, but we have 2 rounds because they're interacting differently. All right. Now, something like, it's almost like a bug. Whenever you enter the hint and like the thing that tells you you're correct gets in the way. So I have a little thing that's going to push the screen up and just keep everything centered. So that's going to look like this. So document.query selector, and we're going to select form dot style dot padding equals 240 pixels, 0 pixels, 0 pixels, and 0 pixels one more time. Awesome. Now for the progress bar, when we get it right, of course we want it to go up. So comes progress bar, not like that, that's for CSS. Oh, I don't know what keeps on doing that. Equals document.get element by ID. Actually, it's not ID, it's class, because we don't actually have that. Class name. Progress bar. There it is. Okay. And that's going to be on the index of 0. Okay. Then we're gonna, this is just more for the progress bar, it's very hard to explain, but we're gonna do computed style equals get computed style, which is gonna be our class name, and this is just connecting it to the CSS. Okay. And then we want the width to change of the little white thing inside it when we get one right. So that's going to equal parse float. This is just some math stuff that's like affecting the width. Created style dot get property value. Go down a little bit, and we're going to make that width like in our CSS. And we also, oh, this can actually come up. It's not here, my bad. We're also going to do a or 0, and this just, it's more logic. But after that all happens, we're going to do progress bar dot style dot set property. Oh, capital P. Style dot set property. It's not liking something I did. Let's see what it thinks. There we go. And then width plus 4. And I chose 4 just because it's assuming you have like 24 in here. But we're going to see in a second, it might glitch out a little bit and not go all the way up, but we can change that. Okay, now we're going to let English equal the next one after all of that stuff just happened, like so. And we're going to change that right here. Oh, good element by the English. Oh, there we go. Dot inner HTML equals English. Awesome. Now we're going to change the round, so round, type round equals round plus 1. Awesome. So that's if it's correct. Whole lot of crap. Should hopefully work. And honestly, if we just get this one right, we can just check. And so this one is L. Okay, awesome. For some reason, it's just resetting the page. So, I'm not sure why it's doing that. Let me check. Alright, so I found out what the problem was. I had accidentally mistyped Spanish, so you're just going to change the G and make it say Spanish. And you might have caught that, and you might have been wondering like what I'm doing, but yeah. And then also so that it clears the text every time we hit enter, like right now, it's like bugging out a little and just resets the page. We want to actually input this code right here. So event.currentTarget.value equals nothing. And that's going to clear the input value box. And yeah, now it should work. So we can test that. L. Awesome. Yep, and it clears it and it says correct. And yeah, works great. On to the next part. Alright, so I did a little digging to find out why the page isn't working. And it turns out it was just one little mistyped word. So right here on this line, originally, this says Spanish _ helper with a capital. But when we came up here into our actual HTML, where is it? Here it is. This is a lowercase on your page, so you just need to go up here, make that capital, and everything will work. So now, with our correct system working, whenever someone gets it correct, it should work. So like, here we go. So that's correct, awesome. Nice. So this one I think is K. EO. And that's all of our words, and so it just resets. Now, watch what happens when we get one wrong. It doesn't really know what to do. So say we say this, it's just like, I don't know. It doesn't do anything because it has no idea what's happening. So we're going to fix that problem and actually code in what happens when you get it incorrect. So for that, let's make sure this is correct. Yes, it is. We're going to go here and we're going to do incorrect. Scroll down so you can see. We're going to do an incorrect page. And we're going to do that with an else statement, just like so. Awesome. And inside of this, what we're going to do is just tell the user that they're incorrect so that they know how to change it. So we're going to do document.getElementById. And we're going to do undercase translation output div dot style dot color equals red. And what this is doing is it's going to change that like thing that when you get it right like this, you see how it says correct? That's actually just going to change to incorrect and it's going to change to red. So we'll see that once we're done coding this. Also, we're going to change it so instead of correct it says incorrect, and we'll do that with another get element. Also on translation output div We're going to do dot inner HTML equals try again. Awesome. Next, we want to actually give them a hint because after they get it wrong once, we want them to just get it so it's like in their memory and not like waste a ton of time. And you can obviously change this. Like you could be like, oh, after 2 incorrects in a row, it's going to show this, but I just have it after 1 just because that's the way I like to learn. But you're going to do that by just another document, not document timeline, document.get element by ID. And actually we're going to do Spanish, underscore in the capital H, like we had changed earlier, dot inner HTML. And then we're actually going to have that equal to the Spanish word, which we had already defined up there. And it should be on the correct round too, which is nice. Equals Spanish. So that's actually going to show up. It's going to pop into view and then you can be like, oh, okay. So, and then you're going to still have to type it out. So you like get that in your memory, but obviously you'll have the correct answer. And we'll do document.querySelector, which is just for like actual elements, not IDs or classes. And we're going to do form. And then with that form, we're just going to bump it up so that everything stays centered and it looks like nothing has changed. But in reality, we're actually increasing the padding on the top. Or actually, we're lowering it on the top. Just make all these 0 pixels. Awesome. Okay. We need a little sound right here. Then, yeah, then I'm just going to console log that it's incorrect, just in case we need to like check if something's broken. Very important for like debugging that you have a lot of console logs. We don't have like almost any in the tutorial just because I already know what that code is going to do, but like when I was debugging that earlier, I actually added in this right here just so I could tell like what was actually happening. But that's not necessary and you don't need to add that. Then we're going to have the score go up by 1. So +1. So this is how many incorrect you get. Awesome. So now everything should work when we get it wrong, and it should stay on the current word, but give us a hint. So let's hope I did everything right and see what happens. So I know this one is L with an apostrophe, but I'm going to do it without one. See what happens. Awesome, there it is. So now it gives us the correct thing. It erases our word, so we can type again, and it says try again. Now I'll watch again. I'm going to repeat the same mistake just because I didn't realize maybe. Click it again. It stays there. Nothing's like breaking. It's verifying that I still have it wrong. It's not going to like go on again. However, it does add to the score. So like if I spam this a ton like that, obviously my score is going to go down. So you don't want to do that. But then when I get it correct, perfect. Back to this. Say I'm like, oh, I have no idea what this is. I don't even know. Awesome. Okay, it's K. Very good to know. Type in K. Boom. On to the next one. Hola. Oh, I know this one. Yo. Oh, I'm not sure what this one is. La. Wrong. So I'm going to type era, and boom. Very simple stuff. And actually, this is a preference, but I actually don't want this word right here to be so big. So I'm going to go into the CSS and actually change that. Oh, that went away. So that element, if I remember correctly, is called like Spanish hint or something. Let me find it up here. Let's see. Spanish helper. And I have that labeled as a H1, which is the same as that, but I actually want to go into the CSS. And we can just add it at the bottom. It's fine. And we're going to do hashtag Spanish. And it's lowercase this time just because I didn't change it for this because it doesn't really matter. I want like the font size to be, I don't know, maybe 20 pixels. Let's see how that looks. Nothing changed because I assume it's inheriting it from the H1. Let me search for the H1. Okay, so we don't actually have that. Very odd. Oh no, it is capital. Sorry about that. I don't know what I'm talking about. Hopefully, now it should reduce. Okay, awesome. That's a little too small for my liking. Let's do like 30. Even still. There. That looks about great. It's just a simple little fix. I think makes it look a lot better. So like era, yeah. So it's just a little less or more incognito. So let's view this in full screen so we can see this like pushing up feature. So, okay. Okay, that was correct. And when I get it correct again, it should stay like in this upward position. Awesome. But if I get it incorrect, it's going to move up. So there it goes. It moves down a little. But this right here is staying center. So like the user's eyes don't have to like walk around the screen. And that definitely improves the UI a lot. Awesome. Let's minimize that a little bit. And let's continue on with... And this, you could honestly stop here and just be like, yeah, we're not going to have a scoring system, and it's just going to reload the page when you're done. But I want the user to be able to like see their score. So we're going to do that. So to do that, we're going to have another else statement, and this is pertaining to when the round actually ends, and that's happening right here, when the English.length is greater than the amount of rounds. And the round goes up every time a user gets it correct, but not incorrect. So like obviously since it's still on the same word, the round isn't going to go up. And this is actually a very simple code that we had already actually written above, but really it's just we're going to call the function next page, which we have up here. Oh, we can get rid of this. Where is it? Somewhere way up here. Looks like it's down here. Oh, here it is. Really small. Function next page, and it's just window.location.ref. Page underscore end Spanish.html. And we can write that page later, but for now, nothing's going to happen, but we'll fix that. All right. Then we're going to have a variable of final score. My variables are very weirdly named, but I think it's all right for this purpose, as I'm not like scaling it super massively. So I'm going to do English length minus score. So what we're saying is like how many words are in the list, and then minus how many they got wrong, and this will give us like a score out of the actual like length. And it's going to be some of this. Say I got one wrong, it's going to be like, I don't know how many words, maybe like, I think I have 6, so it'd be like 5 out of 6. And obviously if you had like 100 words, it'd be like, oh, you got like 10 wrong, it'd be like 90 out of 100, which is nice, and you can really customize that however you'd like. But then to get it in that format, we're going to do final score equals final score dot toString. And what this is doing is just turning it into a string, which is just, I think, yeah, it's just a type of variable. That means it's like containing like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, just the alphabet pretty much. Think of that, like you can have numbers in there, but they're not going to be able to be like added and multiplied and all that crap. So then we're going to do final score plus space, the little backslash, and then another space, and then English.length. So this is just the length of our list. Awesome. Then right here, we're going to be storing the final score to the local storage, and then sending it to the, I guess, score page, or like end game page. And this is pretty simple too. It's just session storage dot set item. Yeah, and we just want it to say like score. Or yeah, we can just send it as like, okay, so what this is doing is like, think of it like an array, and an array is just like, think of it as like a list, but like a bigger list. So an array has this string that's like defining its label, and that has this variable final score, which is its content. So we're going to store that in the session storage, and then we're just going to let the user know that the game's over. An alert just like does like a pop-up on the screen. Game is over, and we'll just tell them the final score to make sure it matches up with the next page. Awesome. Now, everything should work, so let's see. Okay. I'm just gonna look at these words to make sure I can just speed run it, but so hola, I'm gonna get this one wrong just so we can see what happens. Oh, it's okay, okay. So that's office scores, so we're already gonna be, how many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we're already gonna be 5 out of 6. This one's R, I know that. This one's L, I know that. This one is Sue, this one's Yo. And up here, it says the server, which my address is just like my little server's IP. It says, since I got one wrong, your score was 5 out of 6. Awesome. And when I do this, obviously we don't have this page created, so it just takes us back here. Awesome. So we are officially done with this page. And you'll notice that with such a small amount of words, the progress bar is like glitched out. But that can be easily fixed in the CSS, which I had for some reason closed. Let's open it. Where is it? Oh, saw it. Up in this, like times 1%, and you can like choose how much you want to add each time. You can really customize that and just mess around with these variables to get it kind of perfect for how many words you want. And I'm sure there's a better way to do that, but I'm just going to leave it be for now because that's more like aesthetic and less user experience based. So we're finally done with this super lengthy page that took us forever. And now we're going to go on to the end page. So let's make a new file. And we're going to name it what we named our function, which is, where is it? Let's find it. Is it under the accents? Not very organized. There it was. Oh no. Come on, where's function next page? Where'd it go? There it is. It's kind of hidden. Sorry about that. Awesome. So we have our function next page, and it's going to go to this page. So I'm just going to copy. You can honestly make this whatever you want, but it just needs to be the same down here. Just going to copy and paste that. Boom. We have a new page. And so the first thing I'm going to do is actually make its CSS page, which I'm going to name style underscore end Spanish dot CSS. Awesome. Now in here, I'm going to do a boilerplate. I think that's what it's called, or a launchpad or something like that. By just typing exclamation point and then clicking enter. Awesome. We're going to title that and Spanish underscore page. Perfect. And then we're going to link style sheet, and it's going to be, oh, there it is, and Spanish.css. Perfect. That's nice and linked up. And then we are just going to quickly get to that page by going like this. Let's play the game real quick. Oh no, that's just okay. And now when I click it, watch this. Now we actually go to a page. It doesn't just say like a get error. So now we're on this page. We can do whatever we want to it, and it's not going to like reload. When I reload it, it doesn't go back or anything. So let's get this going. So it's relatively simple compared to the other one, but it's also has its own level of complexity. So we're actually going to go back to the page underscore Spanish. We're going to go all the way up to the very first thing where we have our HTML. And we don't need the ID, but we do need the style. So we're going to copy that because I don't want to rewrite all this code. And then we're going to paste that. Awesome. We have this background, but I don't really like this background, so I actually made a different one. And I think I named it, let's see what I named it, honestly. I named it. Oh, I don't even have it in here. Well, I want like a nice gradient background. So I'm going to add that into my assets. And it's right here. Look at that nice gradient. Awesome. And you can put that as whatever you'd like. But I want that. So boom. Awesome. Here's my gradient. Just an infinite void right now. We're going to change that in a second. So now that we have our background and it looks all nice, we can start on the actual content. So it's relatively simple this time. First off, oh, let's get this typed out. We're going to have a page header like last time, just because I really like the vibe we have going on with that. So we're going to start with a div. I'm going to name it class. Oh, not capital. Header div. Awesome. That's all we need there. Then we're going to have a header 1. Name that class of header. Awesome. And we're going to make it say end screen. Now watch when it's going to show up this like non-formatted bad no CSS little thing. So watch. There it is. Just black. Looks absolutely horrible. We're going to change that in a second. So we'll head over to our style and Spanish. And once again, we're going to import our fonts just because I like these fonts. So we're going to do that first. And we're actually going to retype the body and the like starter asterisk, which is just for the whole page. And you can just copy that from the style back here, up at the very top. You can honestly just copy this stuff like this. Copy all that crap and just paste it over, and you'll be good to go. Awesome, so we have that stuff. Next, well, let's go get our header div out of the way. So header or dot header div. Okay, and on this, we're going to have a display of flex. Oh. We're going to have a justify content center. We're going to have a background color of like a opacity changed black. So like maybe down, I think I have mine at like, what is this? Something around here, I think. And then we're going to have a margin bottom. So there's like a space in between at 50 pixels. Now you can see this is centered. It's looking a lot more nice. I'm liking that. Awesome. Now we're going to move on to the header, which is just going to be dot header because we have a class again. Perfect. Oh. And this is going to be a lot more code, but we're going to have a height of 70 pixels. Awesome. It extends it a little bit. We're going to have a width of 1500 pixels. Awesome. And it's going to fly over there, but that's okay. We're going to have a font family. Oh, font family. And it's not going to be in here, so you're going to have to type, or whatever font you honestly want, but I want like Google's font, Open Sans. And then sans serif. Awesome. Looking better. I like that. We'll have a text align a center. Now it's in the center. Awesome. I like that. We're going to have a font size of 50 pixels. Awesome. Now it's actually in the center. Thank God. We're going to have a margin top. There we go. Oh, there it is. 20 pixels. Boom. A little more down. I like that. And we're going to have a color. Oh, it doesn't like that. Oh, because I didn't put an apostrophe here. Or not an apostrophe, a little sign. And we'll have a color of white with an opacity change again. So I'm going to put that like right there. Nice. And you can make that whatever you want, honestly. We're going to skip the background color because I don't really care about it. And we're just going to do border radius of 2 pixels. And that's only really visible if you have like a weird device. But look at this. Have a nice centered screen that stays centered no matter what size you make it. Except when you go super in, but that's okay. Awesome. So that's done. We're already halfway done, surprisingly. Now, oh, come on. My reference page is being weird. Come on, open up. Okay, I got it. Now we're gonna make what I'm just labeling as like a card, card one. And I call it a card because in web page development, a card is like think of it like a box where you're containing a lot of elements. So I'm gonna name a div of class card one. And you can add as many cards as you want. Oh, I'm see, but I just have one. Bring that down. Inside of this card one, we're gonna have a form. And I have a form because I was having trouble with like formatting this so it looks nice, and it seems like a form just keeps everything nice and center. So we're gonna have a style of padding top 150 pixels, and I'm using inline just because I think it's more clear what's happening and like easier to change if I wanted. And we're gonna have a header of class score, not core, score header, and inside this it's gonna say score, capital score. Boom, that's over there. Awesome. Then we're gonna have a little link, or it's more like it's a little paragraph, honestly. And we're gonna have that as ID score ID. Awesome. And under that, we're gonna have a link that takes us back to our menu page, which we have not created. We will at the end. HTML. It's gonna look exactly like that. Awesome. And then inside of that, we're just gonna put the same arrow image as last time. So honestly, we can just go copy that code. So just go head on back, and then where is it? Return button. There it is. We're just gonna copy. Where is it? Oh, yep. Just this image source right here. It looks a little messy with my formatting, but that's okay. And we can just erase all this, and there it is. We have a giant arrow, but that's okay. That'll go away. All right, and we don't need an alt. Who cares? Awesome. So that's it for what's inside the form. And it seems like nothing, but you'll soon see that our score will be showing up. So let's head on over to our CSS again. Now in this, next thing, or next order of business is going to be to format the card one. I'm going to do this by doing a border radius of 50 pixels. Awesome. We're going to do text align center. I'm going to have a margin of auto, which is really just like padding, but it's like it's not exactly like padding, but just think of it as padding for now. You'll understand if you get a little deeper. And then we're going to set the color to like a faint black with a really quite low opacity, like down here. Awesome. So you can already see it's kind of coming into form. And then we're going to have a width of 30% of the screen, like so. And that looks small, but we'll fix it in a second. And we're going to have a height of 500 pixels. Awesome. Now this arrow is bugging me, so I'm just going to get that out of the way. We're going to add in an image, don't need a dot or hashtag or anything. We're just going to make that a width of 40 pixels. Awesome. It's looking a whole lot better. Next, we're going to start formatting the actual stuff inside. So dot score header, and if you remember, this is just this is just this, honestly. So now we're going to do text direction, dash line, and we want it just an underline. And I'll just underline it. Nice. Do a font size of 4 rem. I just like to switch up my values a little bit so I learn them better. And then we're going to do a color of white. Awesome. Simple stuff. And then finally, the font family of, come on, Open Sans Serif. Awesome. Looking nice. That's it for the score header. Nothing, no special functionality there. Onto the just P, the paragraph, because we don't even need a class for that. I'm going to make the font size, make it 2 rem. And you actually won't see anything because we don't have this in here, just with the way the order we're doing this in, but this is really going to like transfer the score from the other page to this one. And we'll see that in a second. And we're going to copy the font family as well. Oh, right there. Awesome. Oh, and it looks like... oh, and then the padding bottom, that's our last bit. Just add nice 20 pixels so it stays up. Awesome. Oh yeah, and then this arrow obviously moved down. Awesome. And then we're gonna have our... Did I name this? Let's see. I actually think I forgot something. Head on back to the HTML, and we actually forgot to give our link a class. So we're gonna do class equals, oh, make sure it's inside, return space. Awesome. Now go back to the CSS, and we're gonna have one last one, which is gonna be dot return. This will just be our little button thing. Do justify content center. We're gonna do a display of flex, so when we change the page size, it maintains all that. And then this is just not necessary really, but we're gonna do a padding left of 25 pixels. Ooh, it does not like what I'm doing. I'm gonna do a padding right of 25 pixels. Awesome. So now we have this nice arrow, looking nice. Okay, and that's it for the CSS, surprisingly. Not a lot. Pretty modest amount of CSS in most aspects. But now we're actually going to head back here. We can clean this up a little. As a matter of fact, we can format it with my formatter. Awesome. A lot better. And then down here, we're going to make a script. So we're going to add some JavaScript, which you're going to be surprised at how simple this is. All we're doing is we're making a variable of score, which equals the session storage. We're going to get the item of score. And if you remember, way back here, all the way at the bottom, we had saved the final score to the tag of score. And over here, we're just taking that out of its, think of it, it's like you're taking it out of your backpack or like your file system, and you're just looking at it now. So then we're going to do document get elements by ID, and we're going to make that score ID. And we're going to make that score ID equal score. Awesome. And that's it. 2 lines. It's as simple as that. Now watch. 6 out of 6. Perfect. We did a perfect job. Nice. And this functionality actually works. So let's go back to this page. We're going to reload it just to confirm everything works. Watch this. So I obviously know this one is yo, but I'm going to say, I don't know. Okay, we got one wrong. Awesome, I know that one. Oh, what's this one? I'm going to say hola. No, that's wrong. So now I have 2 wrong. Okay, let's just continue. Oh, that one's wrong too. My mistake. Era and Sue. Awesome. So I only got half of them right. My score is 3 out of 6. Now when I click OK, it takes me to the end screen. There's no lag, no delay or anything. And boom, we have our score 3 out of 6. And this, like we could go back like this, but obviously, like why would the user do that? It's a little weird. Instead, we're going to have this arrow that's going to take us to our menu page, which we're going to code right now. Awesome. So, close our assets, and we can make another new file. And we're going to name this file based off of this right here, which is page_menu.html. So, new file, and just copy that. Awesome. We have our page menu. We're going to need a page or a style underscore menu. So let's make a new file, style underscore menu dot CSS. Awesome, looking good. And we can close this stuff. We don't need that out right now. Except actually don't close the style and smash because we're just going to copy the first part of that. So we're going to copy the add import, and we're going to copy this stuff and the body. Just copy, bring it up here and paste. Awesome. Now, this will work enough, so we can actually click this arrow. It's going to take us to this white page called menu. Oh, menu HTML. Awesome. Add the boilerplate or launchpad like that. Boom. We'll title it menu. I like that. And this is going to be even simpler than the other one. What we're going to have in here is just a few things, but first we need to link our CSS. So we'll do that right now. Link, and that's going to be style menu.css. Awesome. That's nice and linked. And we're actually going to have the same background as our end Spanish. So we can honestly just copy that style from here. Boom. Bring it over here. Space. And there it is. Oh, it doesn't like that for some reason. Let's see. What does it now like? It may not be updating. Oh, there we go. Not sure why it's not updating like that, but it works now. Awesome. And all we're going to have as like our actual elements is going to be a div. We don't even need a class for it. And we're going to have a header 1 of menu. Awesome. And then we're going to have another div. We're going to name it class language. And then inside of that, we're just going to have a link. So a href. And we're going to want this to take us to our Spanish page. So we're going to do page underscore Spanish dot h. There it is. HTML. Awesome. And then we want the user to be able to tell what that is. So we're going to make it called Spanish. Looking good, looking good. Oh, Spanish. Perfect. Now, look at this. We have our horribly formatted menu. But when I click Spanish, it takes us to our Spanish page. Awesome. So we're going to go back. And we're going to go to our CSS page right here. And we're going to start adding some stuff. So we have even less stuff this time. All we have is our h1. And inside of that is a padding top. 10% of the screen's height. Brings it down a little bit. We have a font family. So I'm going to go over here and just copy one right from our header. Awesome. And head on back. Should delete that. Boom. Now it's in our favorite font. And we're going to do a color of white. White. Nice. Starting to look better. We're going to do a font size of 100 pixels. Nice and big. And then we're going to have a text align center. Awesome. And by the way, I'm just clicking Control Save every time just so you guys can see. It's not very common practice, but sometimes I like to do it. And then our language class, we're going to have a border radius of 30 pixels. Now remember, this is the div, not the actual link, so this is going to be like a little barrier around it. Do a text align center. We're going to have a height of auto, just depending on the screen's size. We're going to have a width of 200 pixels. And we're going to have a background color of a nice white. Yes, a nice white. Awesome. Then we're going to have a justify content center. And we're going to have an align items center. That's not right. Oh. Okay. Align items center. Awesome. And then margin auto. Perfect. And then for we can click save and see what happens. Awesome. Looking nice. And then for our actual link, which is just an A, we're going to do text decoration as none. So this gets rid of like this ugly purple and then the underscore line, or the underlined stuff. Boom, that goes away. We're going to do a padding top of 10% of the screen's width. Doesn't really do much, but it's evident if the page is changed. We're going to get our favorite font up here, just copy it. Looking good. And then we're going to change the color to black way down here. Nice. We're going to do a font size of 40 pixels, nice and big. And we're going to do text align center in case you want it as a different word. And that is it. We have our fully functioning menu. Very, very simple, but I think simple is better, especially for a menu. And obviously here you could add like an about page, you could add more languages, all this crap, anything you really wanted. Lots of tutorials for just how to add more elements, but I think by now you would have figured it out. You just add another div and you have a different link, and boom, that worked just fine. Well, yeah, that is it. Everything should work perfectly, and we can even test it. Yeah. So click on Spanish. Let's make it full screen. Beautiful home page. Everything works. Click Spanish. Boom, we're on our Spanish page. Want to go back? Oh, it looks like I named it different. One more thing. So go to your Spanish.html. I'm going to go up here to our link. And it seems I have named it home menu instead of page_menu. Very simple fix. Page, there it is, _menu. Now, if I go back here and I click this red arrow, it doesn't like that. That's weird. There it is. Okay, fixed. Now, it takes us back to our menu. So if the user's like, I'm done, I'm going to go do German or something like that, or just leave. But yeah, let's test it out. Okay, I know that's, I know that's K. Awesome. I know that's L. Not sure what this is. I don't even know. Oh, Sue, of course. Era, hola. And last but not least, yo. Awesome. So I did pretty good. I got 5 out of 6. Let's click OK and see how I did. Awesome. Score 5 out of 6. Awesome. Well, I'm done with this. Let's head back. And, well, we could do it again. Learn some more. And look at this. The word has been shuffled. A completely new word. Everything's reset. And that's about it. I hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial and learned a decent amount about this kind of like functionality, making a little quiz game. And I hope it helped you with just the basics of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And yeah, thanks for clicking on the tutorial and for utilizing your time to learn a coding language. Enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye.